Happy early birthday
Safeway
to
didn't have any candles
Stefan.
or cake.
Happy
This is the best
birthday
I
to
could do.
you. That's really early.
Wow, Michael! Not only is it not my birthday, but that's an ice cream. Actually, an ice cream tub, and that is number 6, which has no relevance to do with anything.
Oh wait, you meant to sing happy birthday after you light the candle. Happy birthday.
Dagwit.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Stefan.
Happy birthday.
We already did that, Michael!
And now you're just shouting and making it too loud. Anyway,
We're animating in threes.
We are an animation podcast where 3 animators talk and discuss an animated series or film. And this week we'll be talking about the 2010 series Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn.
You will, but I won't.
But before we get to that, I want to talk about the iPhone 11. I have a big problem with the iPhone 11.
I thought we were an animation podcast.
iPhone X. I don't care. I'm going to talk about it. So the iPhone X, not only does it skip 9, but it goes right to 10 after a steady 1 to 8,
Windows
right?
10 did the same thing.
Yeah, but this is the thing, okay? I don't like it, and I don't like it with Windows.
Windows can do it because it's fine. Apple's shit, so I don't
And
like it.
I don't remember that as well. I just remember the first time was bloody Windows XP.
I didn't remember it, so it didn't happen.
But this happens in my memorable lifetime. So it skips off over 9. And even if you said, oh, but it's an X and it might not be 10, it could just be its own thing. Well, now it isn't. And now they've gone right to 11 without getting to 9. I don't like it.
Maybe the iPhone 9 is like an experimental thing that can like say it's like the perfect iPhone, but they said no, it's not fit for consumers.
The world's not ready.
We'll put it with all the Video Easy stores that have all those DVD players that Michael wants.
Oh, you mean they keep it in the Area 51 that has all the unscratched DVDs?
Yeah, that's all Area 51 is. There's no aliens. It's just all the unscratched DVDs from Video Easy.
I just wanted to rent the Disney classic Dinosaur. But nah, it just has to melt as soon as the asteroid comes. True. Hey, I want to rent the 1998 Godzilla. Oh no, the bit where Harry Shearer comes up, my player exploded.
Okay, well, before we actually get into this topic, we're going to talk about real animation news.
Wasn't that animation news?
No, we aren't. Okay, so, guess what's getting a stage adaptation for a musical
The
stage
iPhone
adaptation?
10.
No. The Prince of Egypt.
Or is it the iPhone 9?
Oh, wait, this is actually cool. The Prince of Egypt's getting a musical adaptation.
Is Jeff
For
Goldblum...
the stage, yes.
Oh,
is
that's
Jeff
cool.
Goldblum reprising his role as that guy?
I don't, that's literally all I know about it. Okay.
No, that's really cool though.
Yeah.
But would they keep the same music, or would they do it from scratch?
What's the point of adapting a musical if you're not going to adapt the music?
Exactly, but some
Otherwise it's just Moses the Musical.
that is a point.
So there's a Chinese animated film called The Legend of Hey, and it's taken, and a few weeks ago, or a week ago, it took the top spot in the Chinese box office, and it looks pretty good.
Is this one of those Chinese films that makes $11 trillion and no one's ever heard of it?
I've never heard of it
Probably,
at all.
It's one of those.
That looks really nice. The 2D is good.
I haven't heard a lot about like Chinese animation because whenever
Yeah.
I think of Eastern animation, everyone
It's
just thinks
mostly-
of Japan.
Yeah, exactly. So it's nice that a Chinese animated film is getting
Are the
some...
aesthetic kind of sensibilities similar to anime?
I don't know. This is the first Chinese thing I've seen.
Ever? I
that
just
getting-
no concept of Chinese people or food or.
The Chinese animation, sorry.
Is this getting a worldwide release or?
Look, again, I didn't put much effort into this week's news spot, so...
Okay, but that
Look
would
for
be
the-
interesting to look into.
Yeah, we've horribly disappointed the 3 people that listen to this. Also, that joke about video stores is not going to make sense unless you've religiously followed this, so no one's going to understand it.
So season 2 production of Final Space has wrapped up, which is pretty good because the finale's airing in 2 weeks.
Gee, you would hope it was finished.
But yeah, they had a nice office party and they had Final Space muffins and cupcakes.
Actually, it'd be nice if they were all shaped as mooncake.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Isn't that like the whole thing?
And every time you eat it, it just goes chookity pop.
They would have to have a mooncake cake, right? Also, is mooncake the green ball?
Yes.
I know nothing about Final Space. Let's go on.
You watched the whole first season.
I don't remember anything about it.
And you probably watched it like 1.5 years ago.
I watched it 1.5 years ago, and then while doing other things, which is how I watch most things.
Okay, so Disney Plus. Disney Plus is going to have a lot of old Marvel animated series on it.
I saw that.
Such
Two of
as
them.
X-Men 92, Spider-Man 94, Spider-Man 79, Spider-Man 81, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Iron Man 94, Fantastic Four 94, Incredible Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Spider-Man Unlimited.
A lot of that just seems like sticking it to Sony.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, look, if you're going to take away Spider-Man from us, we're just going to put all the other Spider-Man stuff on our servers.
As if we didn't make enough money from Spider-Man already.
But no, that's good. And it also means when we get Disney Plus, that's all we're going to be talking about on this podcast.
What,
just all the
Spider-Man?
all the Marvel animated shows that Michael's going to pick every single time.
Yep.
No, as soon as Disney Plus comes out, all we're going to do on this podcast is stuff on Disney Plus. We're not going to bother buying other stuff or going to Netflix.
The things we choose are based on availability. If we can procure them with the least amount of effort or monetary
Offerings.
offerings possible.
Then that's what we're going to be doing.
But Ben, you love Netflix. It's like your favorite word on this podcast.
That's right. Netflix sponsor us. I love you still.
No, but Disney's got all that Disney money.
Sure. Okay, the last piece of animation news. So, Lucasfilm Animation changed their logo. I know that's not a big thing, but for me, it's exciting. So,
Ben, that's very pornographic.
the O in the animation is now a Clone Trooper helmet, which is pretty cool because I think their most successful series as of so far.
Gee,
has
do you
been
think it's Star Wars?
the Clone, specifically the Clone Wars animated
Yeah, definitely.
series? So, I think that's pretty cool. And that is all the animation news I could be bothered going on about. So, Stefan,
Good job, Ben.
You
Do
want
you
a
wanna
better podcast, you go make one.
Stefan, do you want to talk about Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn?
So this was actually suggested by a really good friend of mine on our YouTube channel.
It was me.
Oh, do you know that person?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, for a second, for a fleeting moment of hope, I thought we had another listener.
No, no,
Well,
but
his friend is another listener. What are you talking
yeah, he's
about?
listened to all our episodes.
Oh, isn't that guy that also hates video stores now?
Well, yeah, well, maybe he does. He had a new light on them, he said. So, he is...
Thanks, Danny.
Yeah, so this guy is a massive fan of Gundam.
I thought you were going to say of us, and like, that can't be right.
No, he's a massive...
We're all on this podcast. I don't even think we like it.
I like last episode.
I like the last one.
But we sponsored ourselves. We must love ourselves.
Exactly. We've got to have some faith in ourselves.
So he really loves the Gundam series and can speak about all the intricacies and all the political agendas of all the characters involved. And I'm going to butcher every single one of it because I barely understand what I watch.
Yeah, be very weary when recommending us something that you love wholeheartedly.
Yeah, sorry, Stefan's friend. Yeah.
We
This is the Thomas thing
Because you
all
two
over
also
again.
hated that Doctor Who thing, yeah. That
No, we had got, I think, 2 good comments about it.
Okay, so Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn is a 7-episode OVA series created by Sunrise. Released from 2010 to 2014, it was based on the light novel of the same name created by Harutoshi Fukui.
Stefan, do you ever practice these beforehand?
No.
Why?
Anyhow, praised for its visuals and complex...
every time you think of a name, can you just put the name into like a text-to-speech thing and then just dub it?
Actually, I should try that. Praised for its visuals and complex emotional plot.
Mr. Black.
In 2016, it was re-released as a 22-episode anime series with a few new animated scenes. So it was just re-released because the OVA series, each episode is an hour long, which is already like 4 episodes of a normal anime. And the last episode, episode 7, Over the Rainbow, is literally 90 minutes. So that's a full movie length. It's around the 28th series in the Gundam franchise.
What the...
There's
Okay.
been... Yeah, so...
Wait, is Gundam...
Yeah, once you start to get to subtitles like Unicorn, I'd presume that it's very far down the line.
Is Gundam a genre or is it a series?
I'll get to
I
that.
thought Gundam was Voltron.
No, Gundam is not Voltron.
No, I remember watching I told you this. We were watching Ready Player One, and there's a bit when, like...
Gundam
Gundam
comes
appears.
out.
I remember very clearly thinking when that came up, wow, that's Voltron.
That's actually... It is
He
from this
says,
series.
I choose the form of Gundam. Why would it be Voltron?
I thought they were the same thing.
No. See, that's why I'm confused too, because I thought Gundam was a genre.
Look, to me, every mech that is an Optimus Prime is Gundam or Voltron.
So, what about an Iron Man suit? That doesn't have Iron Man in it.
That is also Optimus Prime.
So, apart from Iron Man suits and Optimus Prime, okay.
So, just in case we all forgot, as we've said it before, but OVA stands for original video animation, and it's usually has higher budgets, experimental animation, and is usually focused on home releases. And the run times are usually a lot more inconsistent, being like, as these are, like 60-minute length episodes, which is kind of unheard of for animated series, unless it's an OVA.
60 minutes and all I remember is space.
So, we'll go with the plot summary of this particular series.
Oh, goody. I can finally have seen it now.
Wait, are you gonna have a preamble for what was in the previous 20 whatever seasons?
I'll get to that, because my friend actually helped me with trying to understand what happened.
Oh, thank you.
So this is great.
I know Xeon is a thing.
Isn't Zion the safe haven from the Matrix?
Yes.
Oh, goodness, I'm so sorry, Danny.
Are you gonna bleep out his name?
No. Set in the Gundam series Universal Century continuity, and set 16 years after the pivotal 1-year war. Let me finish this. The series follows Benaja Lynx, a boy whose apparently normal life gets spun around when he meets a girl named Audrey Byrne.
Yes, the normal life of a kid named Benaja.
Leading to a series of events that make him become the sole pilot to the Gundam Unicorn. His connections... No idea what's going on.
I watched this, I'm still confused.
His connections to the Unicorn get him entangled in a political power struggle to obtaining the fabled Laplace's box, an unknown power that is said to have the potential to destroy the political foundations of Earth.
Whenever we do these intros, I just imagine like reading it to my dad. And just the sheer look of like bewilderment and disappointment.
No, but yeah, that's the plot summary. It is a lot to take on, I will admit that. The series was directed by, oh goodness,
Mr. Black.
Directed by Kazuhiro Furuhashi, and he is an anime director and supervisor known especially for directing the entire Rurouni Kenshin series, which is one of my favorite anime. The screenplays were written by Hashiyuki Muto, and the mechanical designs, because obviously because it's a mecha anime, the mechanical designs are very important, were done by Hajime Kachiki. And there was a few other designers, and the soundtrack and music was composed by Hiroyuki Sawano. The Gundam series is a sci-fi mixed media franchise created by mecha anime designer Yoshiyuki Tomino and Sunrise, which is the animation company.
Have you mentioned Sunrise before?
No, this is the first Sunrise production we've done.
You mean the early morning talk show?
No, not the early morning talk show in Melbourne television, which no one else is going to understand.
Is it Channel 7?
Yes,
Who's on
it's
Sunrise?
Channel
Is that
7.
the Carl Stefanovic one?
No, this was Koshi. They all center around these colossal piloted battle robots, and often are set in a militaristic world torn by politics and war. And yeah, so the Gundam series is just a whole lot of series about these Gundam robots. That's all it is.
And about the politics and the war.
Yeah, but there's 50 of them. There's so many of these series.
All part of the same universe or not?
They're all part of different universes. Do you guys, besides Ready Player One and Voltron, have any other...
This is the very first Gundam I've ever watched.
Hey, according to Sunrise, Backstreet's back. Backstreet Boys announce Australian tour. Also, win the Sunrise cash cow.
Shut the hell up, Michael! Have you seen any other Gundam besides this or Voltron in Ready Player One?
I haven't even seen Voltron. Oh, okay.
The only other Gundam series I watched besides this was a 2013 series called Gundam Build Fighters Try. It is just a happy-go-lucky series about these kids. They have toys that fight, and it really feels like a giant toy commercial. And it was not serious at all. So to come from that to this politically torn war thing where everyone's dying every 20 seconds was a very big change for me. And
not many people died in the first two episodes we watched.
Did you count the kill count? An entire school dies.
Not the entire school. Only like 10.
No.
Only 10.
Say 10.
Not the entire school. Only 10 schools.
So we'll go about the animation production, because I famously, well, not famously, non-famously, because we're not famous, but I said that Sunrise...
We're whatever the opposite of famous is.
I said that Sunrise Animation...
Reviled?
Reviled. I said that Sunrise Animation wasn't smooth or wasn't that good in a previous podcast.
Yeah, well, Carl Stefanovic's going through a rough time.
Shut the hell
Didn't you just get a divorce?
Oh my goodness.
Is Carl Stefan even on Sunrise?
No, it's Koshi. I was getting them confused with Toei Studios, which they do collaborations with. Whenever Sunrise does a Toei collaboration, it seems a bit more...
Not to be confused
Amateur.
with Toho, right?
No,
Yeah,
not to be
it's not
confused with
Toho.
Okay. I understand
also
Toho.
thinking about
I understand
that as
Toho.
Toho, for those who don't know, are the people who make the Godzilla
Yeah,
films.
I've seen Toho films.
Yeah, I just wanted to clear
Oh yeah,
that
to
up.
answer your question before I destroy my own mic stand, no, I haven't seen any Gundam Voltron. I can't even pronounce it.
Sunrise is one of Japan's largest and best-known studios, and is a subsidiary to the Bandai Namco company.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
so
that's why they do Gundam, to make products to sell. So
Yeah.
it's the Star Wars of Japan.
yeah, a company which predominantly works with toys, video games, and such exports, and are also responsible for making the actual Gundam kits that you can buy.
Is Gundam like the most popular thing in Japan?
Yes.
Oh,
Well-
really?
Well, I would say it's one of the most popular things.
Well, okay. I didn't know that. Thought it might be Pikachu.
But, well, yeah, that's definitely one of them. Critically praised for such series as Gundam, Cowboy Bebop, Inuyasha, Code Geass, and one of my favourite things ever, Gintama. The studio was founded by former members of Mushi Production in 1972, and they were to become Sunrise Studio. They decided to base their anime around producers' goals rather than having sole creatives, thus focusing on adaptations for manga and toys. Hence why all their shows are based on Gundam and toys, because they're going with what the producer thinks would work, as opposed to like a Hayao Miyazaki sort of thing.
Yeah, take that, one of the most prolific directors in all of animation. Burn.
That wasn't really a burn, it was more.
Yeah.
Burn!
Everything you do is shit compared to Voltron or whatever we're talking about.
Gundam! But yeah, so it's really amazing though, because Sunrise has to produce these Gundam series like once every year, and it's not easy to animate robots.
Especially,
I would think.
bloody, how long? Like 10 hours worth as well.
Yeah, 10 hours worth.
Don't they do like light 3D, like cell shaded rendering or anything like that for robots? Because I feel like that would be the
Now
way
they've
you'd want to do it.
now they've started doing like more 3D CGI Gundam, but in this
3D,
and
CGI, LAPD, hefty.
all those words. But in Unicorn and ones beforehand, it's 2D. The Gundams are 2D.
So
Except
not
for...
even 3D reference?
Oh, that's insane.
Oh, maybe, but
You'd have to have a character
in
sheet.
Gundam, in the Unicorn one we watched, there is 3D used. You can tell when the 3D is used, specifically for turns. But whenever it shows the cockpits,
Whenever turns are too smooth,
yeah.
that's when a 3D models are used.
But the cockpits and all that sort of thing are 2D. Before we go opening statements, it's pretty obvious that the themes in this and a lot of the other Gundam are about... It's a lot of social criticism. History is always very important in that a lot of the series are based off things that you don't even see. They're just kind of acknowledged as like the context, and everyone's always trying to make up for things that happened in the past. And the thing that these series always do well is that the villains are quite likable characters, and they often the villains get the most heroic moments. And it's a thing that goes against the standard
Manichaean.
Manichaean structure. It really plays that into balance. And I found so it's just, you usually have a main character, they're usually a young boy who's just stuck in this world, and they're usually alone against these two big forces, and they're stuck in the middle of this war.
It seems like a lot of animes we've watched.
It also seems like Star Wars.
Yeah, it is like Star Wars in that sort of sense.
Again, it's the Star Wars of Japan.
Except it's a lot less romanticized and more romanticized in how much everyone can spiel out philosophy about war.
Also, he falls really hard for Audrey in this. Really
Really
quickly.
does. Audrey's
Okay.
pretty awesome though. So
Before you get into that, you never properly answered. Gundam, is it a genre or a series?
it's a series of mass series. Like Gundam it's a series. It's a mixed media franchise. It's a franchise.
Okay, so...
Yes, Michael, you got your hand up?
Where does Voltron play into this?
Okay, so... When you say it's a franchise, does that mean every single Gundam series is a part of the same universe, or there's separate franchises within that?
So Gundam has then different continuities, and in those continuities there's a whole bunch of different series.
Okay, but there's no, like, other studio who does Gundam
No,
stuff.
Sunrise does all the Gundam.
Okay,
Gundam
cool.
is Sunrise's child. That's pretty much all they do.
Okay, that's actually really good to know about how only Sunrise does Gundam, because I just assumed that, like, every studio would have, like, a crack at it.
Nope.
Okay.
They have their own mecha, maybe, but Gundam is owned by Sunrise. Like, even Kogias, which is also a Sunrise creation, they use Gundam-like mobile suits, and that's
Yes,
because
they
they
do.
own Gundam.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's good to know.
So, before we go into trying to unravel what this is even about, opening thoughts. Michael, start us off. Do not mention Voltron through this entire paragraph. Go.
Ben, what did you think of Gundam?
So, Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn. Okay, so just to preface what we watched, Michael and I watched the first 2 episodes, whereas Stefan watched the whole thing. I don't mind being spoiled for the rest of the season.
Me
So
neither.
if you want to talk about that while you talk about it, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, spoilies for everybody else.
So the first episode, I really liked it, except the Gundam parts.
Wow, that seems... They're really banking on that being the successful
I know, but
bit.
like, so you had the intro where... So the intro is just a whole colony blowing up, and then you have this Gundam fight, and then you get into, like, the main plot. And I really enjoyed that, but with that Gundam fight at the start, I was just like, it just threw me off. And then when the Gundam fight comes in towards the end, I was like, no, I want to go back to the characters who I want to follow through this journey of like, oh, there's this conspiracy, there's a box that they have to find. I want to find out more about that stuff. But then when you have the Gundam fights, it was like, no, just get away. Ugh. But then the second episode really bangs harder than Gundam, and I was like, okay, I'm buying into this now. But it's not for me, but I found it really interesting.
Okay.
And that's my thoughts.
Michael, do you want to add anything to your...
Nothing I can say could add to the credibility of the podcast. I feel like I do this too often when I'm like, this isn't really my thing, and now I don't remember any of it.
And you only watched it like 2 days
I
ago?
watched it yesterday.
Is that even short-term memory? I don't even know what that's considered.
Dementia.
Okay, as for me, I thought it was brilliantly animated. Like, I thought it was incredible in terms of its animation, how it uses its 3D models, 2D assets, and its map paintings, again, as most animes do.
No doubt
can
about
call-
that. It was super incredibly detailed.
But, like, some of the visuals as well, when they do a difference in color palette, like, they really capture... When they need to show sadness, they really dial down the color palette. And at the end, when it shows the Gundam launching, the Unicorn doing its big launch of the first episode, the reds and all the fire around the explosions are incredible. Like, it looks gorgeous. And I just think visually it is a treat. Like, the entire series gets a bit more surreal at times.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
They go through time in this last episode. It's really weird.
Ah,
But
okay.
but they have these really nice effects, and they really know how to experiment with their visuals, which I really like.
Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn sounds like a fake anime name from like a film that doesn't really understand animes. It just sounds like one of those things. Like, what are you watching, Jimmy? Oh, it's Beatbox Cram Tap.
Beatbox crammed.
Okay.
Other than that, the story itself I thought was a very slow burn. But when it gets in the later episodes, when you really get through it, it really shines how incredibly interlaid and just interesting all these political philosophies are. Like, I likened it to... We saw Waking Life 2 weeks ago. I pretty much likened this to Waking Life with giant battle robots.
That's a very large difference.
No,
I don't think it is.
I think it was in that
Okay.
you've got a lot of characters
Gundam.
just...
just described like a Richard Linklater film, but with giant robots.
No, there's a lot of characters who just talk to each other about all different war philosophies. And there's a lot of that where it's just two characters in a room saying what they think about the war and how society should progress. And those things are really interesting.
That was actually my favorite part of the second episode, where Banaja and Char,
Yep.
where they're just in a room after they've had a battle and they're just talking about the war. That was a really great, like, listening to that.
That
was fun.
escalates incredibly on in the series, like to the stage where it's almost all talking and no Gundams.
Yeah, probably would have been interested in that.
Okay, so
You're gonna watch the next 13 hours of it?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
that's pretty much our opening thoughts. So we'll go with the first episode that we watched, which was called, and
Sorry.
let me get through the series synopsis so we can just get through it, and then we can discuss what we didn't understand.
How are we gonna discuss that?
So, Day of the Unicorn. The series opens with the massacre on La Plazas, which led to the 1-year war, which was the beginning of the Universal Century and catalyst to the entire series.
Okay, so Laplace's, right? So
Laplace's
if
was
that
the colony
blew
at
up,
the start.
who are the two factions? Is it Xeon and the Federation?
Yeah, the two factions are Neo-Zeon,
Neo-Zeon, yeah.
and the Federation of Earth.
So Neo-Zeon, I'm guessing, is on Laplace's side?
No, Laplace's was in the middle.
Oh, okay. So
This was kind of...
So they blew up Switzerland, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the peace treaty. That's where they were signing this thing that was the future, signing the future of the universe.
Okay.
And then it blew up. It was an assassination.
Who did it?
Unclear.
So it hasn't got to that yet.
I'll
Okay.
get- So, present times, a Neo-Zeon military force known as the Sleeves travelled to Industrial 7, which is a colony present around there, in order to obtain the key to Laplace's box. I explained what Laplace's box was before.
Did he?
No, I just said it's like an object. It's like an
It's a
item.
MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's an item that is like foretelling the end of the world. Apparently, it's this thing that
But they're not
whoever
on a
gets
world,
it-
they're in space.
whoever gets this item can control the fate of humanity, sort of thing.
Ah, okay.
A student at Industrial 7,
Industrial
Banage-
7 is part of the Federation, right?
yeah, colony.
Yep.
It's one of
Just
the
to make
colonies.
sure.
A student at Industrial 7, Banaja Lynx, has a chance meeting with Audrey Byrne, a princess of Neo-Zeon who wishes to meet with the head of the Vist family and convince them not to hand over the key to the Sleeves in order to prevent intergalactic war. A conflict for the key ensues, however, with many casualties on the colony. While trying to secure Audrey's safety, Banaja stumbles upon the Gundam Unicorn, which is then entrusted to the boy by the head of the Vist family before his death.
Who is his
Yeah,
father?
revealed to be his father.
I tripped over the Gundam Unicorn.
He didn't trip
So it's
over.
just lying on this line in the park. Oh, who dropped this?
How long has this been?
Hell,
here?
this bit-
How do you trip over something that's like 20 stories tall?
I don't know. I can think of a way.
The Gundam then launches into space in order to confront the Sleeves, and that's how the first episode
Okay.
ends.
So apart from Laplace's being what exploded in the very beginning, I actually understood all of that while
Good.
watching it.
Awesome. What my friend ended up explaining to me in this like little paragraph he sent is that thing that we see at the very start is basically the start of this entire continuity of this Gundam world.
Say continuity.
Continuity. This entire continuity of this Gundam world. So in between that and this series we watched, there was 4 other series in between. There was Mobile Suit Gundam, which was the first one, Gundam Zeta, Gundam Double Zeta, and Char's Counterattack.
That kind of sounds like how they name Power Rangers, where they have Power
last
Rangers Ninja, Power Rangers Super, and just add.
That last one
words.
just sounds completely unrelated.
Char's Counterattack.
Did you forget to type it and just said words?
No, that's what it's called.
Okay,
Oh, and then Garfield picture frame is the next one. I don't know.
so the first episode, right? We have Banaja, who, by the way, when the robot says Banaja's name, it sounds like Manaja, like a really weird way to say manager. And I was thrown off for the first half
I
of
was
that.
thrown for the first 3 episodes until my friend said, no, his name's Banaja.
Not Manaja.
Manaja.
Out of all the things I thought to be perplexed by, that wasn't one of them.
That was the thing that perplexed me most. But yeah, and there was also super clear telegraphing of who Audrey was. She literally just walks past these 2 signs. One says "Lost Princess" and the other one says something else to do with the plot.
Is that just an arrow pointing?
Yeah, they might as well have been. But yeah, I thought, but as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, well, now I know where her story arc is gonna
It
go.
wasn't really a twist that she was a princess.
I know, but the telegraphing for that is a bit too on the nose.
Like, also, the series that came before this has her as a character. She's
Oh,
shown up
okay.
before, and she's always been a princess of Neo.
See, it would have been great if we just started with the first one.
Oh yeah,
Too bad Netflix doesn't have the first
and they're
one.
probably like 20 billion years long each.
What else about it?
Did you get what the two factions in this world that are trying to fight over this key are Neo-Zeon, who I just call the Space Noids. They're basically just the people in space living freely. And the Earth Federation,
Yes,
who is just
I
on
got
Earth
that.
in a polluted Earth that's dying.
But the people, who Banaja is part of, aren't they part of the Federation too?
Yes,
But they're not on Earth.
they're expanding.
Okay.
And that's
They're
where the
part
conflict-
of the Earth colony. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's where the conflicts with the Space Noids are happening.
And the Neo-Zeons are another planet, right?
Yeah, they focus. They're on like an asteroid.
Okay. But
Really weird. But
they
yeah.
aren't from Earth, though.
Then I don't know.
So they might have originally been
They may
from
have
Earth?
originally been from Earth. They were originally like refugees, so to speak.
Okay.
And also, another weird thing to mention before we go on is that they keep mentioning something in this called new types. I don't know if any of you picked up on that.
I did.
New types are basically like the evolution of the next stage of human evolution.
Yes,
They
I got
basically
that,
have
yeah.
like sort of telepathic understanding. They can understand feelings and people's emotions a lot better.
So what they do with the new types, put them in Gundam suits to make them fight.
Yeah, because they can
It's like a misuse of skills.
I know, they just weaponize whatever they have that's coming to them.
and the Federation refuses to kind of recognize that these new types exist because they feel like the existence of a species better than human would lead to like
More war.
yeah, more wars, and the idea that the Federation will lose the power of authority that they already have.
Are these
Okay.
new evolved, subspecies, are they particularly good military are they good at military tactics? Are they
Well, no,
tacticians?
they can connect with the Gundam better because the Gundam can connect into these waves, these psycho waves. They explain it in the later
So
episodes.
it's kind of like Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to plug your brain into another guy. And
Yeah,
then
you-
into the
Except for
machine.
you don't have another person with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
This is real. Like they explain it in the series, and my friend would be able to explain a lot better. But I have the base understanding that it's like they can connect into the Force in order to understand people better and understand people's true intentions
so they
better.
can dream fast. Like
Yes,
in
they
the
can
Dark
dream
Crystal
fast like in
Age
the
of
Dark
Resistance.
Crystal. No, like there's some scenes even in the first episode where Audrey looks at nothing and says Banaja, and all of a sudden Banaja knows that Audrey's thinking of him.
Ah, yeah.
That's because she has this psychic link. She can link into this.
Are they both
Psycho.
new types or just Audrey?
I don't know if Audrey is. Banaja is definitely a new type. He was trained and brought up as this new type.
Okay.
And that's why he and only he can connect to the Gundam Unicorn.
Okay. So speaking about the Gundam Unicorn. So, this series is a Gundam, right?
Yeah.
All the other mobile suits, they look like Gundam, right? But they're not. They're not Gundam. You have the mobile suits and the Gundam. They're pretty much the same thing.
In this
What the hell?
in this particular
continuity.
Gundam just means the big, powerful ones. And in this case, the ones that have, like, the V horn, they're the Gundams. The ones
But
that
the
are more
red
powerful.
one that he versus in the second episode, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that
Yet
pretty much
that's
seems
not
a
a Gundam. What the hell? Why can't they all just be Gundam?
I don't know. The Gundams in this series are more like an experimental... These are the ones that connect to the new types.
But you said in previous series, everyone had
everyone
Gundam.
has a Gundam,
So
yeah.
why is it...
It's just this continuity. That's just how this universe uses Gundams. Whereas in the one I watched, the Gundam Build Triders 5, whatever that one was, everyone has a Gundam. Gundams are just little toys.
Well, it's stupid. It's just like the bloody iPhone X. It doesn't make sense.
Everyone goes and lines up at the Gundam store for a new Gundam.
Just like the iPhone X.
Yes.
And across the road you can get a Voltron.
For cheaper, but no one's going.
But the Voltron's more customizable. Oh, but no, the
But it falls
Gundam
apart.
is more accessible. And it's got a better UI.
It's got a better UI.
But the Voltron has a headphone jack.
Animation wise, I actually really appreciate it. I said this before, but how the 3D blends into the 2D almost seamlessly.
I didn't notice any 3D.
Did you not notice any 3D?
No.
Most of the times when it did a Gundam at a mid-range, it was 3D.
Oh,
just to
okay.
do the turns. And then when it's really interesting because most of the in-between animations would be 3D, and then they would seamlessly slowly blend it into 2D for when it does its big pauses. So then it makes it look like it's all 2D. Also, another one that this one was really praised for, and you can tell in this, is that the pieces of when the Gundam like either transforms or shifts its gears and whatnot, is that everything actually goes somewhere. It doesn't just magically disappear. Like other Gundams have like things where, a gun will just spawn out of a little box thing because it does.
So it's not like Iron Man's nanotech suit, is what
No,
you're saying.
the things actually come from somewhere as opposed to being created out of nothing.
Yeah, I did actually
Yeah,
really
never liked-
appreciate how, like, you could see all the gears and everything moving and where it is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I never
it's
liked nanotech.
Yeah.
There's something just so there's no like we talk about tactility a lot. There's just no tactility to it because it can just be anything. Like a lot of
Yeah, Green Lantern's ring and powers.
no, but a lot of tension comes from like knowing the limitation of the equipment, and just Iron Man can just have whatever.
And that's what I really like about this particular series. All the Gundam, if you notice, they look scuffed, they look big, they look heavy, they look like if you like throw a coin at it, they could just like self-destruct because they're so fragile.
Why would you put them into battle then if you could just chuck a coin at it?
Well, no.
Oh no, I wrecked the entire
Not that
army.
It's just a Gundam made of like popsicle sticks.
Popsicle skip Gundams.
Go into space. I can't breathe, there's no airtight. Oh no.
Just people holding up magnifying glasses to set it on fire.
Ah yes, the ultimate weapon, a magnifying
Okay,
glass.
they're a bit more resilient than that. I was just using it as an exaggeration.
Who's gonna pilot it? Oh no, I can't support the weight of a pilot.
We just throw it into space and hope it hits something.
We're just gonna wait till they get under it and then we push it over.
Okay, yeah, you
Genius.
didn't mean that fragile, but
No.
like they look used. They look like the actual machinery.
Yeah.
That like aren't just way big, sci-fi tech in the future. But yeah, I completely agree.
In terms of animation again, my favorite scene is definitely when when the Gundam first launches, because the aesthetic with the flames and the explosions around and how they do the character overlays are incredible.
I actually really like the chase in the middle of the episode with Banaja, Audrey, and the people chasing
Yeah,
them.
there was some good like action choreography with Banaja versus Marita.
Like because it wasn't like big or flashy. It was just like really tense, and I really like enjoyed that. And like the animation was really good again.
I like how he does like a 70s like one of those dance moves where you go on the ground and do like a little turn spin. He does that to like kick her off like the staircase.
Yeah.
Like those are really cool. Like it's fun. It's really good that a show that's mainly banking on the fact that they can animate giant battle robots can also do these really tense human choreography action sequences.
Well, if you think about it, all of
She
the
described Saturday Night Fever as tense human choreography.
Yes.
Just John Travolta shaking his hips.
if you think about it, all the Gundam movements would pretty much be based off of the human.
Oh, definitely.
movements. So if you could do the human movements well, you could do the Gundam. Like you're on your way to doing the Gundam well.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But it also is a way in universe to show that all these, even the students as well as the military, are all trained to have this combat mentality where they're always ready to be able to fight if they need to. Whether that be in a robot or on the ground with like Nikes on. I don't know. Just from this first episode, what did you guys think of Audrey? Because I loved Audrey. Audrey was my favorite character in this whole series.
In the first episode, she was like really mysterious and all that, and like you could tell she was tough. But in the second one, I know we're not talking about the second one. There's not much about her, so which in retrospect for the first episode makes me look back at her without much interest.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
She becomes very pivotal. And what I really like, because again, this is my first real Gundam series, there's no gender, like the males don't get the big heroic moments as opposed to females. It's quite balanced, especially later on where male and female, they're all human.
Especially with that, that four-clovered Gundam being piloted by the female as well.
Marita, I feel so bad for her. She has the worst life ever.
But, she has some of the best Gundam moments.
Yeah, definitely. And in fact, the Audrey, who ends up being the one at the very end of the series to give the big speech that practically saves the world.
We must save the world!
Whereas Banaja's in his like unicorn, like trying to go
I must
through time or
unicorn the
something.
world!
But how are we going to save the world? By punching things with big robots. That's how we do everything.
No, most of the real problems in this are solved by talking. The Gundams are kind of just a pseudo solution.
There are
So it's like real world, where a lot of the politics and stuff are solved by talking.
Exactly.
Or
Like
taking a cyanide pill.
No, not the silent, no.
World War II commentary.
That wasn't commentary.
it's not just World War II.
I know.
So it's more of like a scare tactic, like nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the series, basically a giant laser is sent from the Earth Federation to destroy everyone near the box. And all the Gundam does in that finale is stop the laser. That's the big moment for the Gundam. It just stops the
Amazing.
laser.
So it's basically a nuclear deterrent up until they shoot it into the sun. Wait, what was that? It goes in front of the
Okay,
laser.
well, let's just talk about episode 2
Yeah,
now.
we'll go on to episode 2. So, it's called The Second Coming of Char. The Unicorn defeats the Sleeves pilot, Merida Cruz, before being retrieved by a Londo Bell flagship. And the Londo Bell's inside of the Federation.
Is that a guy's name?
No,
A
Londo
Londo
Bell.
battle flagship.
Londo Bell is the
Oh.
ship's name. Miranda's remaining school friends who weren't killed in the explosion.
Oh, I thought a whole 10 schools
The
perished in
whole
that explosion.
10 school. And Audrey are shocked to see him as the Unicorn's pilot. And Benaja is subsequently questioned by the captain. During interrogations with him, the Sleeves stage a surprise attack led by the Neo Zeon militia leader, Full Frontal. So his name's Full Frontal.
So he was
man.
nude in the entire thing.
Yeah, he was
and
nude.
All of his clothes are just body paint.
Mm.
Even his Gundam is just body paint.
Look, when you're in a Gundam, do you really need to wear clothes?
No, everyone's not wearing pants.
Yeah, but then
exactly.
you have nothing to absorb all the sweat. So that would be kind of
that'd be
weird on the
gross.
seat.
Nah, you'd be fine. They just wring out like the upholstery after every use.
Oh,
It's like a gym.
Ugh.
It's like a gym. You got to wipe it down when you're done for the next person.
Yeah, Gundams aren't gyms.
okay. Anyway, look, he's not actually nude. He's wearing actual clothes made
Yeah,
of
a
body
lot of
paint.
armor. He's got a mask on. He looks pretty menacing.
Just a bathrobe, slightly ajar.
not a bathrobe.
Do you even remember what he looks like?
Not
What color is his hair? What color is his hair?
trick question. He didn't have hair.
No.
He had lots of hair. He had the most hair out of anyone in the series.
Double trick question. Yeah.
It was blonde.
He had blonde hair.
Blue.
We just said blonde.
His eyes were blue.
Mostly with animes, it's one of the colors that hair shouldn't be.
So the military captain on the Londo Bell tries to dissuade the Sleeves' attack by holding Audrey, the Neo Zeon princess, hostage. But this proves fruitless, so Benaja resolves to go out in the Gundam and protect Audrey. After being knocked out, Benaja is taken to the Sleeves' asteroid base, where he discusses with Zeon, aka Full Frontal, about the war and about Neon Zeon's stance on it and whatnot. After receiving a secret tip, Benaja learns that the Federation is coming to get him, and he reflects on how the asteroid will now become a war zone like his colony did.
Okay, so I have a problem with the bloody Gundam, despite them being more prevalent in this episode.
Yep.
So, the Gundam, they fight each other. At first, one was attacking the ship, but then a mobile suit was attacking the ship, but then a Gundam comes out to try to defeat them, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the attacking would have been a lot more efficient if they just had a normal ship, a normal attack ship just to attack it.
Probably.
Because, like, if you're having the Gundam, that means you're, like, fighting with each other and you're just distracting each other. Whereas with your own attack ship, you can just go zoom past, shoot, shoot, and then zoom past, shoot, shoot, shoot. But no. And then they have lightsabers, like, dude, that's not going to be good for attacking a ship. A lightsaber that you only bring out to attack another Gundam mobile suit. You don't even use it to attack the ship. Why? I feel like it would have been a lot better if they just had normal spaceships like every other sci-fi.
Counter argument. The chase scene in The Last Jedi was not interesting at all.
Yes, but only because they ran out of fuel. They all had fuel here. They could have just had attack ships.
No, but the Gundam are cool, Ben. This is not what you question. It's a Gundam series. They gotta have the Gundam.
Again, I think it's a lot more interesting without the Gundam. I'm
The
sorry.
Gundams are a vessel for them to tell their stories, and literally, it's this
literally a
hard-bodied
vessel.
hard-bodied visual of war.
They
Like
could just use a plane, a spaceship,
a plane in space.
a Quinjet, whatever.
The Blackbird.
The Blackbird.
Blackbird singing in the dead.
I will say one of my favorite. What was that?
Blackbird.
Paul McCartney.
I don't actually know what that song sounds like.
Oh,
Don't play it now.
continue.
It's about a lady.
Called the Blackbird.
That's the analysis of every Beatles song. It's actually about a woman.
And it's always played off as if it's a surprise.
Except why don't we do it in the road? It's about monkeys having sex.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding.
Oh, I have heard this song.
Everyone's heard this song. I went to a Paul McCartney concert once, And there was one guy at the back row that every chance he got, like whenever it was even moderately quiet, would just yell, "Play Blackbird."
Is that the equivalent of going to a Skinner Linnet concert and going, "Play Freebird"?
He yelled it so much, and I think Paul heard him once because like he stopped, and then they can't really address it because then he'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
And then he just didn't address it.
Okay, sorry. We've had Blackbird talk.
Anyway,
I was gonna say my favorite scene in this second episode was where after Banagher is captured. Like, this whole series is basically a big game of pass Banagher around. Because he has the Gundam Unicorn, which is the key to the Laplace
Can we call him Banana?
Banana, okay.
Pass Banana
They
around.
they pass Banana around. And that's the whole series. It's just like, oh, get Banana over here, get Banana over there, get Banana over here, get Banana over there. And he's literally...
Sir, this is your battle plan?
Giving me a banana?
He's the neutral party. He believes in pacifism. He doesn't understand why everyone needs to
Why
fight.
is he part of the military then?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He doesn't want to be there.
Exactly, sir, you're a general. What are you doing?
No, like, Banagher does...
Was it an inside job? Do you want to bring down the military from the inside?
No, Banana's a kid. He doesn't want to...
They're gonna learn my peaceful ways by force.
You're allowed to call him Banana, by the way. You don't have to call him Banana.
Banagher doesn't want to fight, but because he's in the Gundam has these abilities because it's connected to this system that it actually takes control of his emotions, so he can't control what he does.
Why do they need pilots then?
Because it's this symbiotic relationship where one needs the other to really work.
Okay, but couldn't he just feel helpful and then he could just build another colony?
There's a lot I can't answer.
Sorry,
I know.
Danny.
Yeah, sorry. This is like bloody Doctor Who all over again.
I didn't go to my favourite scene though. So when
Sorry.
he's captured by these asteroids and he's basically having a meal with what is to him the enemy, the sleeves, and it's just this average family meal where he's eating with them and the kids are like going, "Oh, you killed lots of our people," and he's like, "Everyone kills everyone. I don't get why this war has to happen."
The difference is your people are pricks.
But we think you're pricks.
But that conversation where the father ends up getting a bit riled up as well, it's really interesting for me because you get the whole... In the midst of all this, like, big war, you just get this little scene where it's just this family trying to have dinner, and even that can't be
This
peaceful.
series is really good at depicting both sides of a conflict.
Definitely. And both sides are not at fault. Like, it's always like there's a history, and they have to deal with that.
It's like both sides are responsible and both sides have flaws, but they're both the good guys as well.
Also, so many people die. So that father who is in that meal... established as a nice guy, Banagher kills him.
Oh.
Doesn't want to, but he kills him because he gets in the way. And
Fun.
a lot of these mentality is that whenever they're talking to each other face to face, they're always friendly, but it's always like the second they're in the Gundam, they're soldiers, and it doesn't matter what their life is. They're happy to die.
Which was addressed in this episode as
Yeah,
well.
they
With the
do address
mother
it.
talking to him about piloting a mobile suit.
Marita is the best character, and she dies, and I hated it because she has the... Basically, the anti-hero of the series kills her, and
Who's the anti-hero?
You know the blonde-haired guy?
Shah.
The other blonde-haired guy, he's a younger guy who ends up taking Audrey.
Oh,
to
isn't
Earth.
he the person who is on the Federation side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ends up being the anti-hero and he goes ballistic because he gets so confused at where his stance in this war is, and because he's in love with Audrey, but Audrey does not like him.
I thought he didn't like Audrey in this episode.
He grows to like her.
Ah, so it's not like a Banagher where it's instant. It's just over time.
No, Banagher's constantly in love with Audrey. The only thing he does is when everyone asks him, "What's your stance in this, Banagher?" I just want to protect Audrey.
Yeah. But yeah, my favourite scene is definitely when Banagher and the Full Frontal are having that conversation in the office. I just found it like really tense and like the tension. But like the dialogue between them, it wasn't like perfectly natural, but it was like the back and forth between them was really good, and like how they answered each other's questions and how they like posed questions to each other as well. It was just like,
for some reason,
it's really interesting to listen to.
It's interesting that the action scenes, although incredibly well animated, you want those dialogue scenes because for some reason how they're animated and how they'll do like little actions and you can see their facial expressions twitch and whatnot are way more interesting than seeing lifeless battle robots.
Exactly. That's another problem with the guns, where to me I just zone out when they do the battling, just because like, oh yeah, smash, grab, punch, oh, Michael Bay explosion, hooray.
The plot doesn't really happen in those sequences.
Exactly, and if you don't know me, if you haven't listened to other episodes, I'm more plot orientated, like with Waking Life. But if anything, the first 2 episodes in this has too much plot.
Yeah, there's a lot of plot, and they stick a lot into their 60 minutes time frame. And it takes ages just to really sort out whose side everyone's even on. But one thing I will say, since until you guys have anything else to add, do you guys want to know what the Laplace's box is that everyone wants?
Yes, please.
So it's anticlimactic, but to the point that it makes total sense politically wise. The Laplace's box is just, you see it at the very start. It's the thing you see at the prologue when the guy in the spacesuit sees it, like, drifting past him. It's the original, like, peace treaty, and it's the one that wasn't remade. It has one extra article that says, if there is the emergence of a new human, a new type of human, a new type, or a space human, something like that happens, their input into Parliament and into Federation will be the top priority. That's all it was. That is the Laplace's box.
So basically, if you're a better human than us, you deserve to be at the top.
No, you deserve to be recognised by a society.
We really should have put this in a place that was easier to access.
No, so I likened it...
Like a library. Or like a
so
house.
Basically, they're trying to take away inclusion then.
No, yeah, pretty much. And
segregate people who haven't been born yet.
I haven't met them before, but I hate them.
The big secret is basically the equivalent of that one Microsoft document that you accidentally save over and can't recover. That is what the Laplace's box is. It's just this thing that the family who made the new treaty held back all this time because they're like, oh, we don't want people to discover that now because they could use that as a weapon to get more authority over us.
So instead of destroying it, they put it in a box?
No, it's not even a box. It's in the place, you know...
It's at the bottom of my recycling bin.
It's just a document.
In the very first episode where there's that tapestry room with the really nice tapestry...
With the unicorns.
It's below that.
Oh.
That's where it is. And it turns out Banaja's great-great-grandfather has been there for 80 years alive in a chair.
So the ending of this is just the ending of the Da Vinci Code.
Yes.
He's like, I followed the treasure map through France, and it turns out Mary Magdalene is under the Louvre. Oh no.
I want to watch that again, actually.
Is there any other animation notes you could note on these 2 episodes?
Look, it's very samey throughout it, but it's very stellar animation, though. It's really good.
Later on,
Stellar.
they do...
Haha, space pun.
Oh, it is a space pun. Later on, they do rainbow things. And by literally rainbow things, I mean they do rainbow tunnels like from Space Odyssey.
Rainbow shooting out of the unicorn.
Yes, Ben, they have that.
Yes.
He has wings and rainbows come out of it. And it's like a singularity of everyone's thoughts. Also, it does this weird thing where, and it's in a lot of other Gundam I've seen online, where like, when they die, the person dies, and their psycho state becomes visible for everyone to see. Like, it's like their final message. They become like Barbie doll nudes. Like, with all spacey transparency.
Full frontal.
Yeah, they're full frontal nudity. But there's nothing on them. They're just like, there's no bits. And they're just like, oh, be nice humans. Stop killing each other, guys. I'm dead now, but I'm happy dead.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. They're like...
like someone throws a beer bottle.
Actually,
I don't want to.
I was on a bus once, and he wasn't allowed on the bus because he was having a fight at the front. And then he threw a beer bottle through a window on the bus.
Who?
The guy who wasn't allowed on the bus.
Ah.
And then I couldn't go home because you're not allowed to drive a bus with a broken window.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the bus had to drive you, and the bus had to get on top of all you guys.
Yep, we carried the bus all the way, like 10 kilometers away.
How many people do you think it would take to lift a bus?
2.
Depends how strong they are. If it was babies, I would imagine like 100.
And they just roll. They roll the babies.
It'll be more than 100.
Babies can't support the weight of their own head.
If it was the babies, might be like 1 million of them.
Million babies.
Thousands.
1,000 billion babies.
What? There aren't that many... No, okay.
Final thoughts on Gundam.
I don't remember most of it. I thought it was Voltron for a good half of the runtime.
Again, it's not something I personally would go to watch, but I'm glad I did watch it though. Like, again, like, if anyone wants to tell us to watch anything, we definitely will, because it's always good to have like someone suggesting something that we wouldn't think of.
And also in 143 weeks, we've had 2 recommendations.
And yeah, it was really interesting to watch. As I thought it was definitely an interesting story, and yeah, the animation was great. It's just Gundam isn't for me.
Yeah. For me, this was my first Gundam. I loved it. I loved it too much.
I thought you said you'd watched the original.
I'm not counting Gundam Build Fighters Try as a Gundam because that was not serious at all. It was just a silly...
But it has Gundam in the title, Stefan.
Yeah, but it was a different sort of Gundam. This is super serious political
It's
stuff.
all by
Gundam.
one studio, so it has to be the same thing.
Yeah, it is all... It's all
So
summarized.
this is your second one.
Second Gundam, but the first really serious one. But I really liked how, like... It was a bit of a hike at first because you got to realize there is a lot of talking and a lot of info they just throw at you. But once you settle into it, the visuals are always stunning throughout, and it's really interesting seeing how all these different characters interact with all these political agendas, and it really takes itself seriously, and I can really appreciate and respect how seriously it takes all of its messages, even if some of them are a bit too intertwined and complex to really understand. But no, I thought it was really good. And for starter, like, being my first serious Gundam, Ben, I thought it was a good opening series. Like, I'd rather go with this one that has super cool visuals rather than the first Gundam that probably doesn't have as good animation.
Yeah, but at least all the mobile suits are called Gundams and that.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, yeah, cool. I think that was a good discussion, apart from all the times it wasn't a good discussion.
That could be said about every episode.
Just everything in general. That was good except for when it wasn't.
Okay, so that is the end of our discussion on...
Where can you find us, Ben?
Wait, what
No.
are we doing next week?
Yeah.
Dark Knight Returns. What are we doing next week, Ben?
Okay, so next week we are going to be watching part 1 and part 2 of The Dark Knight Returns based on the Frank Miller?
Frank Miller, 1986.
Yeah, on that comic series.
Ooh, someone
run.
did his research.
That's all I know.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is new territory. Let's see how we go.
But yeah, if you wish to contact us, say that we're good, if you want to recommend us to watch something, or if you just want to tell us you didn't do that great a job this time, you can contact us at animate3pod@gmail.com or on Facebook at Animating in 3's Facebook page, or on Twitter at the Animating in 3's Twitter page, all Animate3pod.
Yeah, send a suggestion if you want a lazy surface level commentary on your favourite thing.
We're also on YouTube as well. And we're on Instagram, although I've only posted like 2 things on there because I just keep forgetting to make videos.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
If anything was going to fail in our podcast advertising campaign,
Instagram seems like...
the fact that the audio failed.
Yeah.
That's a sign from above.
It's a soundless podcast. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you can look at our lovely album art.
And I'm pretty sure someone liked it too. So, and we are also on everywhere where you can listen to podcasts except for Google Podcasts. I should actually probably look into that again. Google Podcasts. I will quit Google if you don't let me use your podcast service.
Ben,
I'll
I'm not
use
going to
Bing.
lie. They don't care.
I will use Bing instead, Google.
Who's going to use Bing?
I just said I would.
I would take a Bing sponsorship.
I would not take a Bing. Actually, yeah, maybe.
We need
Take
money,
any
Stefan.
sponsorship. It's better than us sponsoring us.
That is true.
We suck.
We break even every time. So who's laughing now?
Anyway, that is all for this week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Da-na-na-na-na, bum,
Dun,
bum,
dun,
bum.
dun.